What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So another follow-up video on this AMA field debacle, I guess you could call it. I'm noticing that I'm getting a lot of thumbs downs in the on the video. It's probably some people that are AMA members at the field. I understand you guys are probably pissed off. Let me explain real quick what. So basically, Eddie called me. I talked to Eddie. I knew it was coming. I knew Eddie was going to be calling me or asking me to call. So that was good. That was great. That's exactly what I wanted yesterday, and I didn't get. I just wanted to talk to somebody. Would have made things a lot easier if somebody just got on the phone with me and shot it to me straight. And it may have been a little bit different of an outcome than the events. Couple of things. In my video, I said a name of a company, and I shouldn't have said the name of that company because the name of that company had really nothing to do with the situation. Ray, I apologize for that. Ray and Robin's Hobby. That is the best and only hobby store in the state of Maine. And I don't want any bad, negative, anything to be portrayed on Ray and Robin's Hobby because they are absolute beasts at what they do. Ray is a hardworking guy. He takes a lot of pride in that hobby store. And if there was no hobby stores around, which they're all disappearing like me and Eddie talked about, they're all disappearing slowly. It takes the fun out of being able to go in there, play on the simulators, and buy something from a hobby store instead of getting everything online like most people do nowadays. I mean, I pretty much buy everything online. However, I was putting together a Hanger 9 P51 giant scale, and there's just some things that you can't buy online, and some things that you can buy online. And there was a lot of things for that P51, that I had to go into Ray and Robin's to buy. Hoses, extensions, switches, batteries, prop, the wheels for the landing gear were all purchased at Ray and Robin's Hobby. And a number of other things that I purchased from Ray and Robin's as well. They are an absolutely amazing RC hobby store, and I meant no bad blood on them whatsoever. They're a great establishment. They've been around for a really long time, and Ray works his tail off to ensure that when you walk in there with you or your son, that you get that full hobby experience. That modeler experience. You know, they don't just sell things that actually fly like RC things. They actually sell like model kits and everything. They sell everything in that store. And if you guys want to check them out at rayandrobins.com, rayandrobinshobby.com, or just look up Ray and Robins Falmouth, Maine, and they do a lot of Horizon stuff, and they pretty much have everything in the store that you'll need. I mean, there was only a couple times I went in there and they didn't have what I needed. But they're willing to order it for you, which is great. So if they don't have it in the store, they will get it. Both of my big batteries that I use for my big EDF jets, my Pulse 5000 batteries, 65C or 60C batteries, those came from Ray and Robin's. I paid top dollar for those, just so that I could support my local hobby store. I could have ordered those online and paid, $27 less a piece for them. But I didn't. I went into Ray and Robin's. I ordered them through Ray and Robin's. They delivered them to Ray and Robin's. I went in and bought those batteries. Most of my batteries that I have were bought at Ray and Robin's Hobby. Except a few that I got through Motion RC. But I bought those to actually go with a particular plane and whatnot. But as far as the hobby stores and the hobby centers, there's just too few of them anymore. Most things are being done online, and it really takes away from that hobby experience when you can't walk into a hobby store anymore and buy a sheet of balsa, or buy a switch, or buy some servos, or it really takes away from that whole experience, that hobby experience. I mean, I've bought in a lot of things. A lot of the stuff that's in my room, minus some planes, a lot of my electronics, little miscellaneous ins and outs, all purchased at Ray and Robbins. Batteries, chargers, everything purchased at Ray and Robbins. I spent thousands of dollars at Ray and Robbins. Yes, thousands. That means more than $2,000 at Ray and Robbins. Guaranteed. With everything that I've bought from them. So that may not be a lot, but that's $2,000 of my money that I put into that store because I believe in that store, because I believe in what they're doing. I believe in everything that a hobby store stands for. And I know the profit margins are small in a hobby store. They have to be. It's just the way it is. It's simple economics. And nothing that I said, I don't want that to have anything derogatory. I don't want it to carry a derogatory meaning, because it doesn't. They are a great establishment, and I think that if they were not there anymore, that would take away from the future generations. And shit, it would take away from me and everyone else that's flying right now. You wouldn't be able to just run down to Ray and Robbins and go grab some glow plugs. You wouldn't be able to go down to Ray and Robbins and grab yourself a gallon of nitro. Nope. Why? Because they're gone. And that's what's happening. Little stores like that are disappearing. There used to be several just in the Cumberland County area, and now it's just them. And they're like the only one in the state. So by no means at all did I mean anything derogatory towards Ray or his establishment. It is a very fine establishment, and it's a really nice, clean store. Something that you feel proud to walk into when you walk into it every day. And Ray's he's a really nice guy himself. Bert, those guys that work there, you guys are awesome. Keep up the good work. Keep up the I know it's hard. I know things, they can get tough sometimes, but you guys seem to work everything out and make sure that we as modelers have the experience of walking into a hobby store. And I appreciate that, and I'm sure that every person that's needed to go grab a part real quick, and there you are, you have it. You don't have to worry about ordering online and paying an overnight shipping fee. Ray's got it at the store. So, I mean, that's about it on that. Another thing is I mentioned that AMA, my most of my channel are not AMA. Well, they're AMA covered, but a lot of them don't like to fly at AMA fields because of the politics and whatnot. Whether me and Eddie were discussing this, it is politics, but then it isn't politics, but then it is politics. So it is and it isn't, and I see what he means by that. But overall, it's politics. And excuse me. Hold on one second, guys. Let me pause this. I'll be right back. All right. So getting back to what I was saying. Let me just make sure we're still recording here. Okay. Get back what I was saying. If I want to share this with you because Eddie shared this with me just today. Just because you have AMA insurance, just because that you have that insurance, that does not mean you can just go to some random field and fly and you're covered. You're not. You are absolutely not covered if you go fly at some random park or some random field like I do, even though the police and the people that own the field, the landowners or whatever you want to call them, they know that I fly there and they're okay with it. Technically, because it's not an AMA sanctioned field, I'm not covered. If I flew through that plane or any of my planes, if I flew them or threw one of them through a window of a car or I hit somebody, God forbid, and killed them, I'm not covered. I'm liable for all of that on my own shoulders. AMA works in conjunction with your house insurance, your home insurance, your renter's insurance. So that's another thing you got to take into account. If you don't have home insurance or renter's insurance, that's another thing that needs to be taken into account. My point being is that I was a little upset yesterday. I said some things without really thinking it through. I made another video this morning saying I won't take anything that I said back, and I still am believing that, but there were some things that I was wrong in, and when I'm wrong about something, damn it, I admit to my wrongdoing, and I stand up for what I believe is right. And in this situation, it's not a good thing that you guys are out flying in a field. It's not a good thing that I'm out flying in a field and being misconceived and naive to the fact that you're not covered. You're just not covered out there. Just because you have that insurance card that says AMA, you've got that card, that does not mean that you are covered at that particular field that you're flying at. It has to be AMA sanctioned. So just remember that, guys. It has to be AMA sanctioned. So if you hit somebody's window in a school parking lot, or you take out a little kid with your B-17 bomber, or you hit somebody's dog with your Bearcat, it's not a good thing for you, because you're not covered. So getting back to that, I said it, and so that's it. I said it. But was it true? Do most of my guys on my channel not fly at AMA parks? Yeah, most of the guys on my channel, they don't fly at AMA parks. A lot of my subscribers are from the Wyndham Youth Football, and they subscribe to my channel because they like watching the highlights of their kids playing football. So that's another thing. This is a two-way channel here. This channel is Dave's RC, but in the fall time, it's also Dave's Football. It's Dave's RC and Dave's Football. So you'll hear a lot of football talk. You'll hear me ranting and raving about, I'm getting ready to make a video here later when my son gets home. We can get into our spot in the bedroom there where he's got his backdrop hanging down. And we can do the video this week of how the 7th grade Wyndham Eagles boys took it to the Sanford Spartans. Pretty good, 30-6 or something like that, I think it was. So pretty good margin of victory there. But yeah, that's a different story. Getting back to what I was saying. So AMA fields are very important. Now, do I really the privately owned land deal and all that stuff? I tell you what we need, Eddie, up here is a flying field for when situations like this occur, and it's not privately owned. It's purchased by, say one of us were to purchase the land, but it's open to everyone. Anyone that has AMA insurance, period, can go there and fly. I believe Fireblade, he's one of my subscribers. Love you, bro. He said that they have a few fields around where he's at, or one maybe where he's at. And it's an AMA sanctioned field, but it's not privately owned, and anyone and everyone can go in there and fly as long as they're covered by AMA. And I think we need something like that. That way we don't have to deal with something like we had yesterday where I wasn't let in because of a membership fee. Everyone would be members at this field, and there would be no fee. This is a non-profit field. The people who bought the field are the ones who take care of it. And it is a piece of land donated so that we can get it AMA sanctioned and have a place where, just anyone can go fly. Say, for instance, if the gate's locked and there's no one there, there's another option. But like you said, usually the gate's open. Usually there's someone there. And usually what happened yesterday normally doesn't happen. I just ended up being that guy that day that wanted to go fly, and It just didn't happen. Like Eddie said, I would have been pissed off too, man. And he said it actually happened to him 10 years ago. He went, and they're like, oh, well, you got to just do thing. And he's like, whoa, wait a minute, you know. So what I thought was I paid my dues around this time last year, so I thought I was still covered. I thought I was still a member. And I thought that, you know, okay, well, if I owe some money, somebody's going to come up to me and say, Dave, you owe me some money. And that's what I thought. So it wasn't that I actually forgot to pay the dues. It was the fact that I believed that I was still covered for a couple months, if not like a month or so. And then somebody, when the time came where I was due to pay the money, they would let me know. But apparently it actually ran out 2 months ago, and I should have paid then. And I didn't get a reminder, nor did I think of it. So I'll take the responsibility and the heat on that one. That's my fault. Should have looked into it a little more. But apparently the way the rules work at this club is you have to pay in January. And then from January to the next January, you're good. So even though I paid in July, I still had to pay in January for the next year's dues. See, I thought when I paid in July that I was good till the next July. Even though it's not July, it was July 23rd or something like that when I signed up. Eddie gave me the date on that. It was like July 23rd or 26th or something. So basically what that means is, as of July 26th, I felt as though that if that were the case, that's when my membership would have been up. But no, I paid for the rest of the year in July, so I paid my money in July, and that gave me until January 1st. Sometime in January is when the dues are supposed to be paid. And like I said, I have no problem paying that due at all. That's nothing to me. I understand the logistics of it. I get it. My thing that I told to Eddie, I was like, well, I just figured, you know, somebody would be like, oh, it's just Dave. Let him in. I'll grab the money from him the next time I see him. He's a member. And Eddie's like, yeah, we should do that, but we don't. Especially with people that, you know, are obviously trustworthy and not just some guy. He's like, oh, I'm going to come here and fly. You see him one time. And then, you know, a month later, 2 months later, that guy shows up and he's like, oh, I want to fly. Let me in the gate. Well, I can obviously see under those circumstances the answer would most definitely be no. Nobody knows you, man. We don't know you. We don't know who you are. We don't even know if your stuff's up to date. So obviously not. No. But in my situation, I still believe that it could have gotten to the point where somebody could have said, yeah, it's just Dave. Let him in. I'll take care of his dues, and he can get us back later. So, yeah, guys, to end on this note, Ray and Robin's Hobby is an awesome establishment. You guys need to get out, check them out. Ray and Robin's Hobby. It's in Falmouth, Maine. They have an awesome website. Here's the deal. Nothing derogatory on Ray and Robin's Hobby at all, period. If you are going to the flying field and you're charging up a 3S battery, it's your only one, and that thing starts smoking while you're charging it up, shit, there, boom, I don't have a 3S battery. I'm getting ready to go out to the flying field with my son. I was down to my last 3S battery as it was. What am I going to do? Well, I tell you what you're going to do. You're going to get in your damn car, you're going to drive down the street, and you're going to go to Ray and Robin's Hobby, and you're going to buy a couple of 3S batteries. Why? Because they're going to have them. They're going to have them. They're going to have what you need for your plane. It may not be the exact milliamp that you need, but you're going to be able to find something compatible to put in that plane so you can go fly. Or you get all the way up to the flying field, and you look at your gallon of nitro, and it's like, there's enough for like a half a flight in there. And you're like, well, what am I going to do? Well, you just get back in your truck, you drive a few miles down the street to Falmouth, and you go pick up yourself a gallon of nitro from Ray and Robin's Hobby. Why? Because Ray and Robin's Hobby is going to have that gallon of nitro in, because those are some of the more important things that you need glow plugs. Doug's at the field flying his helicopters. Oh no, something doesn't sound right. Oh no, Doug needs some new glow plugs, which I'm pretty sure Doug probably has 100 of them in the back of his trailer. But if he didn't have one, he could drive down the street to Ray and Robin's, take him 45 minutes there and back, and buy himself some glow plugs for his plane. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I got to say about the whole situation. Eddie's going to be at the Flying Field Sunday. I'll be there Sunday. I'll be able to pay my dues then. And that way we can just shake this whole thing and sweep it under the rug. So, Cloud Puncher, it wasn't the way you thought it was going to be, man. It was grown men talking like grown men and figuring something out like grown men should. It wasn't some hate thing, unsubscribe to Dave's RC, ban him from the field. No, that's not the way it was at all. They admit that they were kind of wrong in a way, but at the same time, I was wrong in a couple of ways. So, and that's what happens when you have two grown men talking to one another with no BS, no bullshit, no cutting around the edges, going straight through that goddamn bush. And that's what me and Eddie just did. And Eddie, I appreciate that, man. I'll see you Sunday, Eddie. Get better, bro. We'll pray for you. Dave's RC. Peace, guys.